Good morning, Wrinklers. My friend in America said, "Why are you calling it wrinkles?" And I said, well, in the UK, wrinkles are sometimes strategies. They're not necessarily wrinkles. I don't think she was convinced. It's also a week since the US Capitol building was stormed, and that made me think quite a lot about how you deal with things that perhaps you wish you hadn't done. I know there won't be any remorse from Donald Trump. So how do you deal with category 5 thought storms? It is now recognised as a mob with incitement and insurrection from the president, which means that Donald Trump's now been impeached again. How can you live with it? And that's where I go. Dealing with how can you live with it, your bad thought storms. We always are going to reinterpret events as we go, and as more things become known, we try and explain to ourselves what we did. But there's always going to be that undeniable regret for many of the things. And so I started to ask myself, well, how do you live with it really? The first thing that I do is recognise I'm having a thought storm. So I recognise this is me going back and noticing what's happening. So notice that you are trying to reconcile where you're at now with the feelings as they were then. The next thing, once I've recognised what I'm doing, is to really believe that every effort at that time I did from a position of what I knew, best intentions, and I try then not to reinvent or fabricate more than was actually there at the time. That to an extent helps me live with some really bad mistakes and awful decisions that I made. So just try and fact check yourself. Open your eyes and notice that you can influence how you feel, and that's, I think, really important. You can't put it right, no matter, possibly you can revisit with the people involved if it was a relational thing. But generally, knowing that you can't correct these mistakes and errors does allow them to sit better and stop chafing at you, and help to deal with regret. Just recognise the regret and know that you never meant to do harm, that you did the best you could at the time. And I constantly search. So I search for who else has dealt with this, how they've dealt with it, will the way they've dealt with it help me? And I call it my Livology, which is really a study of living my life. And I draw on all sorts of ideas, whether it's motivational speakers or whether it's TED Talks, strategies, new knowledge like brain plasticity, rethinking your world, rewiring your brain. I guess what I'm trying to tell you is that at 70, I haven't got the solutions. And I honestly thought that I would, just like magic. But I want to enjoy my life. I want you to enjoy your life. So I do intend to pass on whatever works. And these ways of dealing with my thought tsunamis are what help me. And I hope they help you. Thanks for listening.